But we are going to hear from Jacques at Senseily. And we're ready to go.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you. You know, we have the source set so the audio will play.
It should, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I got the timer right here.
Okay, perfect. You're in this too.
I know. I was trying to take a picture before.
He's got cool shoes too.
Hi, I'm Jacques. I'm the CEO of Senseily. I'm a software engineer by trade, and I also have a few exits as a founder. My previous startup, Stacks, went to a unicorn and was valued over $1 billion. I'm super excited to have unicorn number 2 here with Senseily.
Hi, my name is Luis Garcia, and I've been an education and tech executive for over 25 years. The last 19 at Fulton University, where I was an executive, and launched the online university and a lot of other businesses within the university. So just joined Jacques as a starting team for Senseily.
And we created Senseily because we wanted to help creators, entrepreneurs, and companies educate their customers and their internal staff. However, we found one major problem as we were doing our customer discovery.
So I'll tell you, Jacques, I have launched hundreds of digital courses over my career, and I have never had a course being created in a few hours and then being online with students. It usually takes a lot of rewrites and lots of effort. And a 200-hour effort is not uncommon, and usually with a team behind you, you have to be good at learning, you have to be good at subject matter, you have to be good at writing, you have to be good at being on camera. So it's a lot of things that happen that have to come together for you to have a course being launched, and then hopefully people will learn out of it. So what we're trying to do here is to create a platform, or we actually already have been creating a platform that takes that process and accelerate it in a very dramatic way. And, there's two kinds of customers, although we're focused right now on the customer on the right, which is corporate training development departments in organizations all around the world. Usually are understaffed, and I'm trying to do too much. And there's also, we have seen an emergence of experts on the internet with followings that try to, that want to monetize that expertise by creating their own courses. And they're also a target market, although we're very focused right now in the corporate training. So with the set of tools that we're developing, we think that we know we can take the process of creating a course and accelerate it 25 times, which will be a tremendous time saver and also money saver. But the part that also scales the exactly very much so is the learning side. Because in my 20 years of in education, we always talked about how do we make sure this course is relevant to him, and to her, and to her. And that is, and to do that, I have to at least create 3 different courses for things that appeal to him, appeal to her, and then you can't really do that at scale. But with artificial technology today, you can actually do that. So it's not only in the creation process, but also in the delivery and learning process that we can make a very big difference. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so Senseily. So Senseily is the first end-to-end learning management system, business in a box, e-learning platform. So we can build the course using AI. You can also publish that course, and you can also monetize that course, all within the platform. We have a website builder as well. We have a booking system if you have a coaching element to your business. So literally everything that you need to roll out your education, either your academy or your coaching business through our platform.
So this is a very step-by-step process of creating a course. And let's say there's a course about learning music. So this is what we're talking about, that we could accelerate 25 times. But then in the other side, in the learning side, well, this is actually how we do it. The input is can be as simple as a course description. And then the generative tools will help create the rest, which is our lessons, videos, assessments, and training materials, and so on and so forth. So it really takes the job of the expert, the instructional designer, the writer, all boxed into one. But the other side is, and I let Jacques explain this one, is the hyper-personalization, the stuff I was telling you about the learning side.
So, for example, in this Learning to Write Music course, the original content that was generated had a metaphor on chord progressions where they're like musical sentences. However, when Drew takes this course, as part of his onboarding, we know he's a heavy metal fan. So what he actually gets is the only course in this world for Drew, is the only version of this course in the world for Drew. And so even the metaphors, things like musical sentences, change to bone structure, to something that Drew is going to engage with. And we know that the outcomes of learning are much higher when you have that engagement and connection with learner. And so we launched a couple months ago. We actually only launched in June, and we already have customers. This is Visit California, and as we stated earlier, this is the type of customer that we are focused on at the moment because it requires very little education. They're already investing significant time and resources in educating both their customers and their internal staff. In this case, they need 56 courses to be created, but the problem is we can do that, but the other issue is that they have 130,000 businesses that are part of Visit California, and they come from all different industries. So they're going to bucket them in 10 different industries. So in reality, we're creating about 560 different courses for Visit California.
And we're doing it for $30,000. With that, you can't even hire a full-time person to do one of the 10 different jobs that you require to create courses. Go ahead.
So what sets us apart is Cognition. Cognition is our AI engine that allows us to deliver all of these AI-powered features. And I know we're short on time, so let's we'll go to. So this is our next iteration of our.
We grew our little fledgling startup into Orlando's first unicorn, and one of only 14 unicorns ever founded in Florida. And now we're going to make Senseily unicorn number 2. Hopefully, having 2 unicorns founded here, launched with local capital and executed by Central Florida talent lays to rest any doubt about what is possible.
So this is the next version of our software. Includes the video and audio avatar. So not only do we generate the course, we can also take samples of your voice and your likeness to actually present the course, so you don't have to do the recordings as well. Anyway, thank you for letting us share Senseily with you all.
I have a question. So we hear a lot about all the different AI systems out there. How is this different or better than chat or Bard or any of the others? Why can't I just go to ChatGPT and do the same exact thing?
You absolutely can. You'll be prompting it a lot. You have to figure out what to ask it. But one of the key differences is we are orchestrating amongst several large language models because each one has different things that they're good at, right? Like Chat GPT or GPT, the underlying model, is really good at creative writing and things like that. Whereas you have, like for example, you couldn't ask it who won what game last night. It just doesn't know. It's got a static training set. We also have our own proprietary large language model, which is going to be specialized at creating instructional content, right? So all of these different models specialize in certain things. We'll also have a proprietary model. Again, yeah, there are definitely tools out there. I will say the tools that do avatar, you can go online and find them. None of them are going to look as realistic as the demo that I just showed you. I never said those words. That is completely
Wait, that was
synthetic.
a fake guy?
Yeah, that was. Oh, sorry, I didn't even make. So that what you saw there. I apologize. So that was the next version of our software. That was not me. I never said those words. I just have a facial model and an audio model, and we generated that. And so we have Cognition is where we're investing R&D into really deep tech here on the AI side, but also specialized in educational content. But to your question, there are tools you could cobble all of this together. You're not going to get 25x productivity out of that. You still need an LMS. You still need a website builder. There are all of these things. So we provide the AI tools and the LMS and the website and everything all in a box.
You should have led with the video.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, you have a question.
Go, yeah,
You'll
we
need
take care of that.
We'll get to it. Go ahead.
That was impressive and expected. I loved it. So I have used ChatGPT, like you mentioned, to create business plans. I created the course with it and created ebook. And none of them were to my liking. I didn't use any of them. So I'm curious as to what kind of feedback you guys are receiving from your courses. ChatGPT, of course, is wonderful, but it doesn't seem to have it. Have you guys received any feedback from your courses? And then the second question I have is, once someone creates a course, do you guys do any promotion or marketing for them to sell?
Yeah. So just to answer your second question, we don't do any promotion or marketing. We're not a marketplace. So that would be more like a Udemy or Coursera, if you guys have heard of that. So you can publish courses there. They will bring in the customers for you. It's a little bit different of a model for us. Whereas, if you wanted to have your own .com, it's only going to be your courses there, right? So that's kind of the difference. As far as your other question, you're absolutely right on the engagement part. That's why we have we have hyper-personalization, not only for the student, but for the content being provided, right? So the voice of the content, right? The avatar that's you, and then the ability to go in and edit. So it's not just, it's a different quality than you would if you just sat there and tried to prompt GPT or something like that. We have a different process that we go through to build the course. We approach it as an instructional designer would, and that's kind of the key difference.
Okay, question.
And I've seen some AI simulations of people talking that they're like caricatures and stuff. So I'm very impressed by that. And I would like to ask, is it the software so powerful that you can create avatars for a lot of people, or is it like something you do once for one avatar? You know what I mean? Like, can you create a lot of people like that to speak in the course?
Yeah, so as a customer of Senseily, you can create your own avatars. There's no limit to the number of avatars we can support.
Jenny.
A little bit off the wall, but when you came out, you showed the name Lauren Thomas. How does she fit in this? Because I didn't notice some people out there. And also, is that Lauren Lombardi Thomas?
No. So Lauren Thomas is my chief of staff, so she's the one who entered that. Yeah.
Two questions real quick. One is, who's your competitors? And two, can the avatar teach people to ride a bicycle or some movement type?
For the first question, there is a good competitor set of creator-based learning platforms where creators can go create their own courses and monetize them. And it's not a very large space, and none of them have household names right now. Very few of them are using AI to help the core creation process. So we really think we're at the beginning of it. None of them are focusing on the enterprise market. They're all trying to capture experts to monetize help them monetize their expertise. And on the second question, can the avatar train you in movements? Like riding a bike?
So not currently. What it would do in that scenario, it would build illustrations. So one of our customers, for example, they have equipment that you need to install. So I don't know if any of you have a Nest. Does anyone have a Nest? So when you open the app up, instead of a video, there's like a diagram and it takes you step by step. So that's how we would teach something like riding a bicycle.
Back here.
Yeah.
When you're working with your clients on their content, and you're saying you're 25xing the speed at which they can put that out, how much of the core content are they needing to come up with? Because if I were to do this myself using the GPT models out there that are readily accessible, I would have to come, like you said, I would have to come up with those prompts. and I would have to come up with the questions that I need to ask. How in depth are you working with your clients on coming up with those questions, and how much does your platform come up with those prompts sort of on its own?
I have a technical answer to that, but I'd love Luis to talk about the perspective of the instructor, because I think that's important.
But that's really good question. So like Jacques was saying, anybody can go into ChatGPT and start prompting, and after a lot of effort, you probably get someone that you kind of like, and then you're gonna have to do a lot of editing that. And ChatGPT in particular is very wordy. And as Jacques said, we're approaching it from the instructional design point of view. And so the prompts already are optimized for that kind of process. At the very minimum, we want the expert to come up with the course description. And I'm going to walk you through it, but it would be better if you could come up with a course description and learning outcomes. Which you should never need more than 3 or 4, 5 at most for a good instructional design practice. So these are the things that we're adding into the process that unless you know those things, you won't be able to create those things. And then it will walk you through the process to create that. The other part of it is that in a world where anybody can create a course, your point of view is what really matters. So the process will push in the direction of pouring in your point of view into the course creation process. So that course is unique to you, and therefore unique to your audience.
So just the technical side of that is we can crawl if you have like a website with your blog, we can crawl it to pull out your content, your specific way of speaking, or you can upload specific documents that you want to, to enhance and fine tune the model.
So I've got a question. Because I played in the SAP world for a long time. Companies like SuccessFactors and Litmos, these LMS companies that's got thousands upon thousands of customers already in their customer base. What's your secret sauce that will separate you from those guys who are saying, hey, these guys did something cool, right? Either buy you or I just use what you did and incorporate that in what they already have?
Great question. So the customer that you saw visit California, they already have an LMS. I would expect most enterprise companies to actually already have some sort of LMS. The difference is that LMS is not going to help them create any content. It's still the traditional manual way, right? The second thing is they don't get the full benefit. So enterprise customers, they pay more, but they pay for the ability to export. That's one of the key differences between our enterprise plan and the other offerings. So they can pull it into their LMS, but guess what? They're creating more work for themselves because if they use our LMS, it automatically lays it out into the course. The second thing I would say is those LMS companies don't have any hyper-personalization. So every single student is getting the same exact course within the LMS. It's not being adapted to them, and that's part of the technology that we're patenting. So other LMS companies will actually have to license that from us.
So I have a question. Vast majority of people that are using AI are using a different type of engine that basically scans the internet from so many different sources. Question is, the problem with that is that's all known information. What if somebody is coming up with something truly innovative that they want to teach, and nobody's got that information that you can call and create the course? Then what?
Yeah, so part of what Luis was showing on the one slide there is, yes, you can just ask it for the course that you want to be created, but if it's more novel, you can also explain what that concept is. So even if it's something novel, it's generally the synthesis of multiple domains and foundational concepts. So if you explain those concepts and place them into your course description, you can get the product out to output your course. Now that's why we still say it's not zero instructor time. That's why we say it's 25 times more productivity, not infinite productivity, because we still expect the instructor to go in and fill in those missing gaps. And then the last thing I would say is, again, we can vectorize and import any of the content that they already have written up. So if they put a one pager on, what that new concept is, that can go, you can essentially teach your virtual instructor how to teach the course. Teach a teacher.
That's very nice.
So I just had one question, and then another one kind of tied onto that. Yeah. I felt watching your presentation that you're trying to depersonalize the effort that it takes to create a course, and that's definitely something that a lot of people need. We don't need the time and effort to create something that obviously that won't necessarily have a return. But what level of interaction does a creator expect to have with a customer using your system? I mean, they have your learning software, but what level of communication do they have with actual creators?
What level of communication does the creator have with the end user, the learner? Yeah, so there's a couple things. We have a community built into the software. So we're building out gamification and things like that, because it's not even just the instructor, but having a cohort of other people who are trying to learn the same thing is a proven way to keep you engaged, but that's also a way for the instructor to engage with all of their students as part of that community. There's a booking feature in the LMS, so if someone has something that they're just not quite getting out of the content, they can actually go ahead and book time with you as well. So that's just like a couple different ways.
Right, and then quick question, pricing model?
So we decided we want to do a free tier. So for those who just want to try out the technology, we'll just charge 5% on top of whatever their sales are for the free tier. And then we have like a 29 and a 129 that just mostly scales with users. That's kind of the main thing. And then our enterprise product starts at $2,500 a month, and that is gives you the ability to export.
Okay. And then the final question is, what can we as a community do for you?
We would just love feedback on the presentation. We are doing a fundraising round, so anything that helps us explain and tell the story better to a broad audience, as well as to potential customers, that would be great. If you are interested in monetizing your knowledge, or know someone who is interested in doing that, then we'd love to hear from you. But those are anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, contacts inside other companies that may have the need. And if you're a company of 50 people or more, you'll likely have the need to train your employees, and you likely don't have an effective way to do that. And those are, it would be great to have more customers. And in addition to our fundraising, is revenue. I take revenue over investment. So yeah, that would be great as well.
Okay, great. Next up, we are going to hear from Shawntia Lee. What's right? That's all right. This could take a few moments. There we go.
All right, thank you. Do I need to use the microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
And the clickers, the
So to.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you guys so much for being here. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. The American dream is the freedom and ability to create one's own future, but when it comes to access to higher education, unfortunately, for a majority of first-generation underserved students, the current process is broken. My name is Shawntia Lee, and I am the founder of College Thriver, and we are a tech solution that's guiding first-generation underserved students to college success. So in 2003, I graduated from Swanee High School, which is in Live Oak, Florida, and there were 0 resources available for me as a first-generation student. I had 0 clue what type of college I wanted to attend. I didn't have any preparation tools for ACT and SAT, so unfortunately, I winged it. This actually led me to a 7-year journey to complete my bachelor's degree and over $120,000 in student loan debt. Here we are 20 years later, and actually 89% of first-generation underserved students are actually leaving college within 6 years, no degree, and around $50,000 in debt. So I've created a solution that can help solve this problem because in addition to my experience as a first generation underserved student, I also have been working in college admissions for the last 10 years, whereby I also guided students from thinking about what major they want to pursue, choosing the right college, and understanding how to apply for financial aid. So with our solution, what I decided is that we should have a predictive model that guides students based on their personality, based on their strengths, just highlighting areas of opportunity where they actually stand out so that we can actually match them to the best fit college. And because of the amount of student loan debt that I earned, I decided that we should actually create an opportunity where students can earn rewards to help pay college expenses. So this is College Starter. Right now, the market opportunity is phenomenal for ed tech schools, especially with the pandemic, where students are we're struggling with digital learning, and schools are struggling with ways to keep students more engaged. So it's $107 billion market opportunity, and we just want to tap into 10% of that market. Right now, we have actually two models that we're introducing where we are currently piloting our app. Right now, we have a web version. So right now, the students will have a freemium model where they actually get to use the tool for free, and then they pay for the premium features like predictive matching, unlocking rewards. And then also with our schools, they are looking to attract more students that will actually go through the process and complete a degree. All right, so our go-to-market strategy right now, we have been building a lot of opportunities through partnerships, currently in talks with Common App, which currently serves over 2 million students. Also, we're currently actually working with Upward Bound here at Rollins College. We'll also be piloting our app. And so more of those programs that are utilizing tools for underserved students to bring this to market. So my team is definitely phenomenal. Myself, first generation college student, 10 years in higher ed. I also have a CTO that has over 22 years experience. I have a lead investor who's actually here in Orlando, Seed Funders Opportunity. They invest $50,000 in early stage ed tech companies, and we received our first convertible note in 2022. And then I also have a corporate trainer, our AI machine learning expert, and our CFO. So our traction has been phenomenal. I actually launched right in the middle of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, and so far we've been accepted, and I completed Starter Studio here in Orlando, new chip accelerator. Today I've successfully raised $100,000 in pre-seed funding, and we're just looking for opportunities to, number one, implement our solution in more schools, because we know that this can be the difference between a student graduating, having a lot of student loan debt, or actually not going to college at all. So right now, we're actually raising $150,000 in funds, where we plan to actually build out our mobile version. As we know, the mobile version will allow us to have more impact as we launch on iOS and Android devices. We also want to build our marketing in our team as well. And thank you for your time today.
So you, I guess by the pricing, that is not the student paying $25,000.
That is
That's
correct.
the school, but can
Yes.
schools pay for sort of maybe preferential placement, or they want to be at the top of the list of recommendations?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I get that all the time. And so that's actually what I'm trying to identify, is because right now the way we have it built out is if a student goes through our platform, we're going to match them to the top 10 colleges that they're in direct alignment with for academic references. So right now, because it's all about helping the student identify the right college to attend so that they can get through that journey and not take 7 years like myself. I haven't figured out, okay, if you're paying and you're not really in that top 10 for that student, how do we leverage that? And so that's why I'm here to, get feedback on how we can.
You could almost think about the phone books, the yellow pages. Used to have, like, every business had a listing, but if you paid, you got a big listing. You got a quarter page or half page ad. So you could charge more to be at the top of the list as a sponsored link, like Google does with AdWords.
Oh, okay.
Or even if they're number 7 on the list, they get a nice big pretty entry. But number 1, didn't pay, you might just have that one line.
Okay, so more visibility to drive students to the school for those that are paying.
Exactly.
We have a question right here.
First of all, are you profit or non-profit?
Actually, yeah, we are for profit.
You are profit.
Yeah, we just have social impact, so social entrepreneurs.
And then my second question is, isn't there a conflict of interest between universities paying you, like students, you're supposed to serve the students, but the person providing the revenue is the university?
Yeah, I guess, it's not a conflict of interest because currently they do utilize what's called education management companies, OPM. So they're actually already doing it. They're just doing it manually. And so we want to be able to leverage technology to do it.
It was interesting. I like some of it, and some of it was.
I didn't think I need to talk loud enough. No?
You got one right there.
Oh, right there, okay. Oh, that's good. Is that better?
Well, Dennis, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you hear me better now? That was okay, but it was a little bit confusing. He already pointed out the thing about what you're charging the schools. It should have been labeled as that. And also, you've got a chart on there where you talk about sales, marketing, and something else, and you have three different things. None of them are labeled. I could see what they were. We can even put a title on them. So this is marketing, this is sales.
Oh, it didn't say that?
No.
You
It showed.
sure?
Yeah, it
You
showed.
want to bet me?
You get it.
Oh,
throw down. I want to see it.
You want to bet me $20?
There you go.
Sales marketing partnerships? You
Yeah,
got
but
that?
you've got all the stuff on the top and the sides of that, and they all refer to different things, and then.
Oh, okay,
Label.
see, I thought it was common. I
No.
thought it was them. Well, okay, I'll take your feedback.
We'll call it a draw.
Just so you know, the QR code didn't work.
Oh, okay, I'll fix it.
And then, I don't know if you thought about this, like, there are so many grants and different scholarships out there. I know when I was going, I had a really tough choice, like, I got into my dream college when I was applying, but, it took me 12, 15 years to pay it off, that $100,000, right? Over $100,000 in debt. And then I got a free ride to George Washington. I went to Boston College, I got a free ride to George Washington. I almost went there, even though I really wanted to go to BC. So sometimes it might be the most ideal college somebody wants, but there might be the third college on the list that they can go to for free that's just as good. So if you thought about, I think an awesome feature would be to include some sort of grant and scholarship. There's so many grants out there, especially if you're talking about underprivileged folks that might have to do this. So if you can add that component to it, I think that would be huge.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. That's actually in our roadmap. Right now, we have to prove the proof of concept with the matching that the AI is gonna read it correctly and match them to the proper schools, but that's actually in our roadmap. And I would love to bring that.
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
As a mother of a sophomore student in high school. However, he's not first generation, but mom and dad have graduate degrees. Would you be turned away from using this?
No, he wouldn't. So the reason I chose to say first generation underserved is because we have the most barriers, but there are students in there whose parents have already attended college and they still struggle. So we're looking to serve everyone. It's more of our mission, and our goal is to make sure more first generation do achieve the American dream.
I love what you're doing. I've got a question now. This is just, about 10 years ago, I was watching one of the morning shows, and this young lady wrote a book, like Confessions of a Scholarship Winner. And she had won literally $250,000, $500,000 worth of scholarships to go to college. And that book has been out for 10, 15 years. What steps do you plan on going to push this information to make sure that at the end of the day, the 16-year-old even knows that it exists, because they're the ones who have to start this process. It doesn't matter what the college does. The 16-year-old has to start the process. How are you going to get that information to them?
Oh yeah, I love that question. So right now, through partnership opportunities, by going to youth organizations, like we're partnering with Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida, also Junior Achievement as one of the people. So I'm actually going to organizations who already have credibility and they already have their name in the community, and we're saying, hey, we want to partner with you to get more visibility on our product. So right now, it's going through those who've already built their name, built their reputation to partner with us.
So I really appreciated what you were writing or what you're presenting on first generation myself. Came here from my parents came here from Europe, so I don't have a lot of connections to Indian here. But what I was concerned about is the difference between a successful businessman and an unsuccessful businessman is the relationships they have with their customers. And what I'm seeing here is that you're presenting a product that people are using, but no relationships to interact with them. So how are you crossing that barrier?
I guess I don't understand the question. When you say no relationship, what do you mean?
Well, so you're using technology to define what opportunities are available in a particular school, but there's no one to talk to about it. If you have additional questions that aren't followed by,
I see.
you don't have a point of contact. You don't have any of those things. So how are you crossing that barrier?
Okay, you know what? Actually, I did have the QR code wasn't working, but in the app, there's a get help button where the students, when they are having issues, they actually get connected with College Cyber. But you actually just made me think further that could be actually a value add for the schools to say, once this student identifies that they're interested in, would you like to be connected to them right away? So I'm actually going to take that feedback.
Hi, so I applied to college a year ago, and I wouldn't say this wasn't available, but like my father said, like I wasn't aware. And so if I were to be the 17-year-old now applying, like I would have to ask you, what colleges like would you say like this applies to? Because like, you know, like my three colleges are FSU, FAU, and FSU. But let's say, you know, in your software, FAU is the only one that's on the list and doesn't apply to FAU or UF. Like, is that how it is? Or does, you know, that might affect the kid's college of choice or just things like that?
Yeah, so actually the reason I created this is because I wanted it to be a non-biased college tool, because there's already biases. There's 3,500 colleges in the world. Well, in the US, I'm sorry. 3,500 colleges. There's no way you're gonna really know just by saying, oh, I'm just gonna go to this college. Most people choose the college because their parents went or someone referred them. So in our tool right now, in this stage, we're just matching the students. If you tell me, I want to see what's available in the state of Florida, Washington, D.C., wherever, we're going to let you know what is available, because we want you to be informed about what's out there so you can make that choice. So no, it's not biased to say we're going to hold you back. We want to let you know what your opportunities are. And it doesn't matter if the college is 10 or not. Right now, our goal is to serve the student.
So I have a question over here on the left there.
Oh.
And hey, so you're going to have a target market with regards to the schools with whom that you're going to partner. So obviously you need to choose the schools that don't have much success in providing scholarships and things like that. Like Rollins, for example, 75% of their students receive financial aid. Okay, so probably not going to be a good.
So
are they going to be a good one for you, or are they not?
You can receive financial aid and not finish college. So I think you're missing the point. Our tool is to help students go to the right college so they can graduate. Okay. So there's more than one. Anybody can get financial aid. Are you going to finish that degree?
So your focus is more on helping them finish the degree
at the right college.
At the right college, yes. And making sure they just can afford to go there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's your pitch, right there. That was your pitch.
Okay. Well, thank you. Somebody record that for me so I can put it in my pitch.
It's recorded. It's recorded.
Yes. I just wanted to encourage you because I'm up close. So I just wanted to encourage you because as a mom, I appreciate that you are actually targeting the students. My daughter, who's now 24, was a very driven, ambitious young lady who, was performing at the top of her high school class. She could not have gotten, don't tell her, she could not have gotten through this process without two parents that cared to help her carry the load. So to come alongside students to help them helps a lot, because I think about that all the time. What if it wasn't for us? Her results would have been completely different. I just wanted to encourage you that I'm glad that somebody's doing this work.
The conversation brings up an interesting value-added proposition also. Let's say that I want to be a metallurgist. It said no school in Florida offers metallurgy. Why don't you give them a list of schools in the country that do them?
You say you want to be a what now?
Metallurgist.
Okay, and you said no schools in
Now,
Florida?
let's say that no schools in Florida offer it. You should have a list of schools. Let's say you want to be something, chemical engineer, whatever. These are all the schools provided.
Yes, that's what we do. So there's a screen, and I wish I had an example of my actual user interface, but there's a screen that says what states are you interested in. You can say campus, you can say online, and we allow the student to actually type in the major, and then there's also one in here that redirects them to the website to apply.
Yeah, I was just curious. A lot of students are actually opting out of major universities and going to trade schools.
Yeah.
Electrician, those, and those actually may also be a source of funding for you because they're trying to be direct. Have you looked into offering also sections for trade professions?
Yeah, I love that. So not at this stage because with the funding that we've raised, we have objectives that we have to meet. And so our primary objective is let us show that the proof of concept works. And I do have a partnership with Osceola High School, also Upward Bound at Rollins College, and a junior achievement that we're going to be piloting. So we're actually getting ready to onboard about 125 students starting next month, where they're going to go through this tool and the roadmap, which I wish you can see it. So it's almost like, think of a GPS system where you put in an address. The address could be Purdue, it could be Stanford, it could be wherever you want to go, and then we map it out, letting you know this is what you should be doing and what type of courses you should be taking in the 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and it does progress and break that down for them. So I do apologize, I need to include more detail in my pitch. But yeah, I would love to incorporate trade schools, but right now, the obligation that we have is to show that it does work for who we're targeting, and then of course you can add on all the bells and whistles.
All right, down here and then back to me.
Oh, so just want to thank you for making this. I think this is a very, very good cause and it'll help a lot of people. And yet, just second on the, reiterate, like in your slides, if you can walk through that journey, I think, because a lot of the things you were explaining afterwards, and I think it clicked with people, but if they could see that, they would see like the journey of the student, right? In your
so anybody in here designs PowerPoint? Reach out to me.
But the question I had was, I was kind of just hearing some of the questions here. So it sounds like you have this algorithm that you've made.
Mm-hmm.
How does it take into account sort of conflicting? Like there was one here about the skill set not necessarily being available within a certain region, financial aid.
Mm-hmm.
Like what if the thing that I want to learn is really far away and really expensive, but the financial aid and my ability, my desire to be close to my family is local? And how do you balance those?
So I have a reverse question. How are you making that decision now?
I mean, I would say like with my kids, they're not at college age yet, but my guess is when we have that conversation, we would look for try to find something that you like within the colleges that.
Yeah,
that
so you would figure it out.
We would, yeah.
Okay.
We would
So what we're doing differently is it doesn't matter how far away it is. The point is, I want you to know what opportunities are available. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't aware of Bright Future Scholarship, could have paid 100% of my tuition, or at least 75%, and I qualified. So imagine the difference of eliminating student loan debt, getting students into Wright College just by having the knowledge. And that's our first goal. So we want you to be knowledgeable of what's available. You can still choose not to.
Okay, so you still got
a million miles away, or you can choose to say, you know what, let's see what else is available. So right now our goal is to let the parents and students be aware of what is available so they can make the more informed decision.
And then the final question.
Yeah.
What can we as a community do for you?
Well, apparently I'm looking for someone that designs PowerPoints to help me improve that. But I love all the feedback, and I really need to watch this video so I can write down those notes. But as a community, if you know anyone who I can be introduced to, that maybe a principal, assistant principal, someone that works in the government, just, any opportunities, grant writers, just helping us get out there. Because as I stated, so far, just myself, I've successfully raised $100,000, but I know that this can go to the next level, and I know that this is a major impact. So
I definitely want to meet with you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank
Dr.
you.
Lee, thank you. Yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of people who want to talk to you. So next week, we are going to hear from Rupert's partner in Orlandopreneur, VJ, with our Texan. We do have a slot open next week, so if you want to have your name put in, you're going to talk to Josh Zeppis. I think is it Josh Zeppis at Gmail or Jay Zeppis? 1P, 2 S's at Gmail. Work with him, and he can let him know that you want to fast track, and he can put you in for next week. Otherwise, just we've got a lot of slots open in the future, so we can get you in there. There's no chat, but if you want a copy of it, let me know. If you're on the Zoom call, you can download it. Make sure you join us on meetup.com, and be sure to connect with somebody today. You met somebody here for the first time, I'm sure. Reach out to that person, get their card, go have coffee, go have lunch, make the connection. This is how we build the community. This is how we have people like Jacques and Shawntia come up and say, I need help with this. And somebody knows the person who can help. If they are not the person, you know the person who can help. That's what this community is all about. Denny.
Josh has 2 email addresses, josh@brokeisnojoke.org or zepprisj@gmail.com.
There you go, zepprisj@gmail, or josh@brokeisnojoke.com. So let them know that you want to fast track for next week. Otherwise, you'll just communicate with them regularly. Don't forget your parking pass. It is a business card looking thing on the coffee station. If you parked in the Truist garage across the street, that gets you out. If you parked anywhere else, you don't need it. It will get you out at other events, so I'm not telling you to take one. Otherwise, thank you very much, and we will see you all in 1 week.